about Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, that whole quarterback competition that's going on in Cleveland. If you guys didn't watch, the Cleveland Browns lost this past Saturday to the Chicago Bears. It was a blowout game. It's preseason, obviously, right? Things don't count. But in this situation, the quarterback competition, it does count. Deshaun Watson finished 11 of 15 for, I believe, 126 passing yards. And for the most part of the day, I thought Deshaun Watson was very stable in terms of he kept the offense ahead of the chains. If I'm choosing the starter, if I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns in particular, I'm going with Deshaun Watson this year. Nothing against Shedeur Sanders, who I think has taken a step in his quarterback development. But as I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns, I don't see a team that can win the Super Bowl. I don't see a team that's in contention. I don't see a team that can make a run in the AFC North. And so when I'm an owner and if I'm a coach, I've spent over $200 million guaranteed on Deshaun Watson. If I spend money on a Lamborghini, and I told Whitlock this morning, if I spend money on a Lamborghini, I'm going to make sure I get the most out of it. And regardless of if that Lamborghini worked for the first 2 years, it sat in the garage, or if the engine was broken down, the third, fourth year that Lamborghini is now running, you best believe I am going to be in that Urus whipping around the city. Like, it ain't just going to sit in the garage. And no offense to Shedeur Sanders, but I'm not going to drive around that Toyota Corolla compared to a Lamborghini Urus. And so, and I'm looking at this quarterback situation in Cleveland. Obviously, it's all shit. Like, you can't throw sugar on shit and expect it to smell good. It's still going to be shit. It's shit all over the place. It's shitty booty. It's shit is stink. It is just shit. Like, the Cleveland quarterback competition is shit. But if I'm looking at good shit, if I'm looking at shit that maybe I took my fiber pills for today, then Deshaun Watson is that shit. I think where Shedeur Sanders lacks, if you've been keeping up with the quarterback competition, is I feel like he's been afraid to make a mistake. And they've had these quarterback trackers. They've had these things that track their competitions and everything along the sun. I'm looking at Shedeur, and I'm just like, Shedeur, let it zip. You have nothing to lose. Like, you're a fifth-round draft pick. You were slotted, quote-unquote, to go in the first round. You dropped. Teams passed on you. Like, brother, you got nothing to lose. And I saw Shedeur take steps. I saw him on that zero pressure on that third down, make the throw down the field. I saw him on that first play. He came in, right, hit the X receiver backside. Like, he has taken steps as a player that I love to see. Now, is he at the position I want him in? No. And everybody's asked me the common question when they talk about the Cleveland Browns situation. They keep saying, Breiden, we know Deshaun is not Deshaun. Why can't Shedeur get the job? Why can't we just see what he has to offer? Well, I'm here to tell you that's not how the NFL works. Like, if you just think the NFL is this opportunity-based business where everybody gets their chance, like, you're wrong. And I get so tired and like, bro, he deserves it. I saw somebody on X today talking about Todd Monken. If you believe in God, bro, you need to turn to God. You need to pray to the prophet. You need to pray to this. We need to, like, bro, leave God out of sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, if God was a fan of the Browns would have 4 or 5 Super Bowls right now. But apparently God isn't a fan of the Browns. He's a fan of the Cincinnati Bengals, so I think he's going to win the Super Bowl this year. That's a conversation for another day. But when I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns, man, it just – my goal as a fan is I'm looking into 2027. I'm looking into the draft next year. I'm looking into, hey, is who's old boy from Oregon, man? I forgot his name. He was good last year in the for most of the year. I'm looking at Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. I'm looking at Drew Mestamaker from Oklahoma State, transfer from University of North Texas. All these quarterbacks, and I think the depth of the quarterback draft class next year allows teams who are in quarterback purgatory right now to not reach for a quarterback, especially in free agency next year going into the draft. It allows them to kind of take a step back and say, hey, there might be a run on quarterbacks in the first round next year. But for a team like Cleveland, say if you miss on the early first round picks, you know, your Arch Mannings and everybody who's going to go off the board early, Trinidad Chambliss, all these quarterbacks. Cool, that's fine. It's a highly depth quarterback class where you don't have to feel like you can reach. But in this quarterback competition, it's over. Deshaun Watson is your starter. I just feel like they just been dragging it out for so long. It's just you're not doing anybody any justice. Todd Monken, you know who's going to start. Everybody in Cleveland knows who's going to start by now. I thought Deshaun was stable. I thought he kept them ahead of the chains on Saturday. They didn't have no run game. And I said it on Whitlock's show this morning. The Cleveland Browns run game on Saturday was like Angel Reese's jump shot. It was non-existent. There was nothing there. Like, you're not getting any production out of it. So stop doing it, right? But for Deshaun Watson as a quarterback, you don't like living in 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. Heck, his first drive where he actually passed the ball, because the first drive they got out there on offense, they ran the ball 3 straight times, right? Then the next drive they came out. First play, Titus Howard got a tripping penalty, backed it up 1st and 25. Deshaun Watson marched them down the field. First play was a check down for 6 yards. Second play, they ran a flat. They ran a basic route to Jerry Jeudy, clear out the middle. He hit him on the dime. Perfect play. Third down, like, you just keep the chains moving. He hits Denzel Boston, gets some yak, and they scored that drive. And I think for me, when I'm Todd Monken, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, you know what? This is my guy. Like, I can roll with Deshaun Watson and have a watchable product. Like, I'm not looking to give people chances. Like, people want Shedeur to have a chance. People want Dylan Gabriel, or let's even see what the physical project Taylor Green can give us. I understand that. But you've already invested $200+ million guaranteed in Deshaun Watson. You'd be a fool to think, oh, these guys are going to get a guaranteed, they're not going to give them a guaranteed shot at quarterback, talking about the other 3. But moving forward, I think Shedeur, for me, I think the best option for him is to get traded. I think Shedeur can go to a team along the lines of like the Los Angeles Rams, right? I think you go to a team where San Francisco 49ers, even the Minnesota Vikings, under Kevin O'Connell, where you can get with a quarterback guru coach who can help you continue to develop your game. Because if you're a real Shedeur fan, you don't want him to be out there. I mean, there was a clip of Shedeur today in practice, and people are going to dunk on the kid. He ended up throwing, it was to Denzel Ward. Mary Kay, I think she had tweeted it from her X account. She's a Cleveland Browns beat reporter. But Shedeur threw a pass over the middle of the field. It was an overthrow again. And I believe it was Denzel Ward. He batted it down. Should have been a pick. But I love throws like that. I love that because it shows Shedeur's growth as a quarterback. When I look at things like that, and you see the clip right here, we'll bring it back here. It'll replay from the top. He throws it. It's overthrow. Cool, right? People are going to say on X, people are going to troll. Oh, Shedeur can't throw. He's overthrowing the ball. It's the same thing we saw in the preseason game, but I'm seeing growth, right? I'm seeing a kid who, when you do this, Shedeur, especially in practice, and you're not worried about this completion tracker, you're not worried about looking good for the social media perspective, these plays like this is where you learn to grow. And I understand, like, your father, legend, Hall of Famer, he'll go down as one of the GOATs, right? Dion Prime has had his brand, and he's done a great job of building it. But you can only control the narrative. I'm talking to Dion here as a father, right? And as a coach. You can only control the narrative for your son so long from the media perspective that you got to let the kid grow, right? Because for the last 2 weeks in camp, all we've seen is Shedeur, 21 of 25, no picks. But he's playing it safe. Like, sometimes you got to learn to take risks because that's how you grow. You never know your ceiling unless you grow out of your comfort zone, right? And I've been around good quarterbacks. I've been around Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and they'll all tell you the same thing, man. You don't grow out of your comfort zone unless you push your limits. And so I think Deshaun Watson has this quarterback competition in the bag. Do I think Cleveland gets over, I'll put their mark at 5 wins this year. Do I think they get over 5? No, I think they kind of finish right at the mark. I think they split one with the Steelers. I think they split one with the Bengals. And I think they get swept by the Ravens. And then obviously you can look at their schedule and mismanage through there. Who do they beat? Who do they lose to? I think they hover around 5 wins this year. And if I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm looking forward to 2027. I think you take this year with a grain of salt. I think you have young guys to build around. KC Conception, Harold Fannin, Judkins, Denzel Boston, who I love. I think he's an electric player. But all these guys you can build off of this year. When I look at the quarterback competition in Cleveland, people are so invested in it. I can't lie. I've been invested in it, but particularly for the fact that I know what goes into it when I look at this stuff now as a player who's retired. But that's my thoughts on it, man. It's just weird to me how it's kind of become this whole identity crisis on X. Like, you got to pick a side. I've had people DM me like, hey, brother, Shedeur was chosen by the gods. You better pick a side on this war. Like, come on, bro. It's not a war, right? Like, that's crazy talk these people, but they got joint practice with the Bills this week, and I think they're going to get a really good look. And if you don't know what joint practice is like, they're going to get a good look at a bulk of the reps with the starters versus starters, good on good, best on best, right? Cleveland's defense against Josh Allen, the starting offense. Cleveland's offense against the Buffalo Bills defense. And so that joint practice, more than the preseason game this week, I don't care who's starting the preseason game. I am looking at this joint practice. I'm going to be looking at clips. I'm going to be hitting up beat reporters. I'm going to be hitting up guys on the Cleveland Browns football team who I know and asking them to scoop. Hey, what's going on? What's the scoop? What's that Browns? What's the starters looking like? And these are things I feel like I'm able to do because I'm tied in so much and because I've developed close relationship with these guys. But as far as the competition purpose, it's over.